Welcome to another video, guys. This is Deep and you're watching Scent Saga. This video is going to be a bit different from the rest of the videos that I've did in the past. Here what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about 5 very famous perfumes and I'm going to talk about the cheaper alternatives. The alternatives are so good that you can skip these 5 famous perfumes and just get the alternatives, and they are bang for the buck. And while I talk about these 5 perfumes, I am going to rank them in the order of their value for money aspect as well. So if this kind of videos interests you, I think this video is going to be super helpful for you. So rank number 5, the 5th perfume in today's list, which I think in the value for money category comes at the 5th spot, is going to be Oof perfumes. Why? Because the 2 perfumes that I'm going to talk about are these 2. This is Coastal Breeze coming from the house of Oof, selling at around 1300 rupees for 100 ml. And what it kind of replicates is the smell of Afnan Rare Reef. This particular perfume was inspired by the famous Louis Vuitton Specific Chill, and Afnan did some tweaks or twist into the DNA that made the opening a bit more juicy with the introduction of mandarin orange over here. They have reduced the dry fruit aspects to some extent, and this is the most wearable perfume that I recommend the most when it comes to the DNA of Pacific Chill. I really don't like the DNA of Pacific Chill much, but Rare Reef is something that I absolutely love. Beast mode performer when it comes to the freshy aspect, around 7 hours of longevity when applied on the clothes, around 1.5 hours of very good projection, and a very good value for money. The only thing is this perfume sells for around 3000 rupees and sometimes a bit more for a 100 ml bottle. Now, if in case you can get this one, just get it, forget everything. However, if in case you feel that 3000 rupees is a lot for you, then Coastal Breeze coming from the house of Oof is a really good perfume. By the way, this is Apparel perfume. I have seen a few comments where they are saying that 1300 rupees for a 100 ml perfume, for Apparel perfume, oh my god, that's cheating or something like that. I feel that the company is doing the right thing. They're mentioning that this is an Apparel perfume. You're supposed to use it on the clothes. Anyway, I always say that when it comes to perfumes, don't apply them on your clothes. And I think what the scent profile is, the kind of performance and projection this provides and the quality that they are providing, this is not actually expensive. 1300 rupees is quite justified for the perfume, and just for the namesake I'm spraying it over here, but I recommend applying them on the clothes. And the smell is very identical to the DNA of Afnan's Rare Reef in my opinion. However, over here I feel that they have enhanced the usage of tulsi or holy basil over here to some extent. And at the dry down of Afnan Rare Reef, there is a smoky aspect of camphor which is missing over here. But these two are very head to head when it comes to the smell profile with some nuanced differences. However, if in case you buy Coastal Breeze, you are going to get a very similar feeling to Afnan's Rare Reef. And my god, at 1300 rupees for 100 ml, this is just, utter value for money. Now, you can ask me, why is it at 5th spot? The reason this is at number 5 is because from the value aspect, this is around 2.3 times cheaper than Afnan Rare Reef, because this sells for around 3000 rupees, this sells for 1300 rupees. What it provides in terms of the projection and longevity is around 1 hour of decent projection and an overall longevity of 5.5 to 6 hours when applied on the clothes. A tad bit lesser than this, I know, but for the value that it provides, top notch. If I was on a tight budget, rather than getting Rare Reef, I would have went with this and I would have been very happy. At number 5, that's Coastal Breeze coming from the house of Oof. Now, at the 4th spot, we have got Menworks. And the perfume that I'm talking about is this one. This is Menworks Sheikh. And to be frank, by the way, this is the decant of Ahmed Maghribi bin Sheikh. The reason this is at number 4 is because from the value for money aspect, this is around 2.5 times cheaper than Ahmed Maghribi bin Sheikh. And to be honest, this is something if you buy, you really don't need Ahmed Maghribi bin Sheikh in my honest opinion. This feels and smells almost identical to Ahmed Maghribi bin Sheikh at 2.5 times lesser cost. And trust me, the blend quality is also top notch, man. Zero alcoholic blast. If in case you don't know what the smell of Ahmed Maghribi bin Sheikh is like, it's a very good amalgamation of the notes of rose, saffron, agarwood, basically oud, with some blend of white musk. There is some violet leaves, and it's a very luxurious blend of oud, saffron, rose in my honest opinion. It makes you feel like a sheikh. And that's a perfume which projects like crazy, lasts really long, and it's in the beast mode category. Bin Sheikh is something, if you search the internet right now, Bin Sheikh is like one of the best oud based fragrances coming from the house of Ahmed Al Maghribi, to be honest. However, Menworks just nailed it to the extent where you don't even need Bin Sheikh anymore. And they are calling it Sheikh. Bin Sheikh is Sheikh. This is Shaikh at 999, or rather 1000 rupees for a 50 ml. This sells for basically 20 rupees per ml. Bin Sheikh usually sells for 90 ml for around 4,500 or something. So technically that's around 5,000 rupees for 100 ml. So 50 rupees per ml. Here, you're basically getting 2.5 times lesser, cheaper, with the exquisite blend quality, scent profile, and the longevity is pretty decent as well. Not as beast mode as Ahmed Al Maghribi Bin Sheikh, but Ahmed Al Maghribi Bin Sheikh is a beast mode when it comes to longevity and projection. Around 2 hours of projection, around 8 to 10 hours of longevity when applied on the clothes. This will get you around 1.5 hours of projection, around 6 to 7 hours of longevity when applied on the clothes. And for the sheer value for money, this comes at number 4. Okay. Moving on to number 3 now. That is this one. This is Issey Miyake L'Eau d'Issey Pour Homme. This is, by the way, decan that I got from Centira. And that's Dawn, coming from the house of Ababel. A rich blend of yuzu lemons with an exquisite blend quality. Very good for the summers that we're in right now. And a perfume that is very high class. I really love this particular perfume, and this is one of the underrated perfumes coming from the house of Ababel. The reason I know is because the perfume is not that loud projecting, very similar to the OG. Issey Miyake L'Eau d'Issey doesn't really project like crazy. It's a very soft and intimate perfume. Lasts around 4 to 5 hours max when applied on the clothes. Same happens to Dawn as well. This is a very soft and intimate perfume for somebody who loves subtle things, for somebody who wants to carry that old money vibe. He doesn't want to announce himself. Rather, he wants to just, cater to the audience who are near him. And, it's a very sophisticated, intimate perfume which makes you smell clean, but without announcing yourself in the room. Now, Dawn is basically selling for around 999 for a 50 ml. So technically that's 20 rupees per ml. Issey Miyake L'Eau d'Issey sells for 8,000 or 8,500 is pricing. So for a 75 ml bottle, if I'm doing the per ml calculation, that's going to be 73 rupees per ml is the cost that you're going to give for Issey Miyake L'Eau d'Issey Pour Homme, and 20 rupees for this one. The reason it's at number 3 is because it provides 3.6 times cheaper value when it comes to the OG versus the clone or alternative, you can say. However, it's not a head-to-head clone. It's kind of an inspired version taken from the DNA of Issey Miyake L'Eau d'Issey. In case of Issey Miyake L'Eau d'Issey, the yuzu lemons are much more richer and a bit more photorealistic. Over here in case of Dawn, although it's very exquisite and high quality, but it does not match head-to-head with the quality that is there in Issey Miyake L'Eau d'Issey. But when you're paying around 3.6 times cheaper value, that is something that I can absolutely go for. In terms of the projection and performance, this will project for around 40 minutes. After that, it's very close to your clothes. And in terms of the longevity, this will be like 4.5 to 5 hours max when applied on the clothes. After that, it comes very, very close. It will linger on your clothes, but you need to be very up close to the fabric to smell the DNA. So in terms of the overall performance, this is kind of mimicking the OG, so I can't complain over here. But at 3.6 times the value, this comes at number 3. Ababel Dawn. Now let's talk about rank number 2 goes to Vivian Luxury's Summer Seduction, which is basically their version of Cedrat Boise. Mancera's Cedrat Boise in itself is a very good high value for money and famous fragrance. Reason, a 120 ml bottle will cost you around 8,000 rupees to 8,500 rupees in my opinion. And if in case I consider it in the per ml pricing, this will be around 66 rupees per ml, where Area's Vivian Luxury will be 13 rupees per ml. So in terms of the overall price to value ratio, this will be 5 times cheaper when it comes to Mancera's Cedrat Boise. And that is the reason this is coming at number 2. What it provides, if we did a clone war in 2025, I guess, and from the Indian houses, Summer Seduction was the winner. And to be honest, at 1/5 of the pricing of Mancera's Cedrat Boise, this is very, 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 very good choice. And for the summers, I think this is another banger that you can go for. This kind of captures around 75 to 80% of that essence in the dry down, not the opening. In the opening, Cedrat Boise kind of feels a bit different from Summer Seduction, but once the perfume starts going into the dry down, this kind of encapsulates that rich aroma that Mancera's Cedrat Boise has. However, the quality is kind of evident that it's a bit better a bit is an understatement. It's way better when it comes to Mancera's Cedrat Boise, but Vivian Luxury offers a really good value for money, and the kind of quality and the overall blend that it provides at 1300 rupees for 100 ml, it's top notch. There is no alcoholic blast, to be honest. Just that the quality of the ingredients that has been used in this particular one, Cedrat Boise, is a better quality, and that is supposed to be. But what it does at the pricing that it comes at is wonderful. Around 1 hour 15 minutes of very good projection coming from Summer Seduction, and around 6 to 6.5 hours of longevity when applied on the clothes. I think at number 2, it justifies its position and a banger of a perfume in my honest opinion. And it's kind of an all-weather, all-round perfume that you can wear any single point in time. Close cousin to Creed Aventus in my opinion, and very, very, very good. Summer Seduction coming at number 2. And the number 1 spot goes to Arabian Aroma Rider. Okay. And the perfume that it's trying to clone, by the way, this is a sample that I bought way back. But then after this perfume came into the mix, I was kind of blown away. At number 1, Arabian Aroma Rider is coming because it's kind of negating or kind of making this perfume redundant, which is Azzaro's Forever Wanted Elixir. This is basically a perfume which has got the Azzaro Most Wanted DNA with some raspberry into it and the leather at the base, okay? And I love the DNA. It's something which encapsulates the sweet raspberry up top, then comes the Azzaro Most Wanted DNA that we have already known, that sweet caramel edge, the toffee-like smell, along with some spices and everything, which kind of makes you feel, okay, it's a Most Wanted perfume. However, the dry down has some introduction of leather into the mix, which adds a class of sophistication into the perfume. I'm talking about the OG. OG sells for around 8,000 for a 100 ml bottle. However, this particular perfume, Rider, only costs 350 rupees for a 50 ml. And in sites like Meesho or anything, I have seen in the comments, they're going for cheaper price, like 270, 280. But since I ordered for 350, I'm going to talk about 350 only. Now, at 350 rupees for a 50 ml, technically the price per ml is going to be 7 rupees per ml, okay? And this is around 80 rupees per ml. The price to value ratio over here is around 11 times. So you're basically paying 11 times cheaper when you're considering this with Forever Wanted Elixir or Forever Wanted. Forever Wanted. I sometimes I say Elixir, Forever Wanted. I just keep on mixing the names. So Forever Wanted Elixir from Azzaro, and this is Rider. Now, is Rider head to head like it's making the OG redundant? No, not really, because the kind of quality of the leather that has been used in the Forever Wanted Elixir is a tad bit higher quality. Not tad bit, it's actually higher quality, and the depth of leather in case of Forever Wanted Elixir is a bit more prominent. With Rider, what they have done is they have made the leather much more wearable for mass audience, because leather is a note which is a bit challenging. Although they have used leather over here, but they have made it a bit more subtle. That subtle element makes the perfume much wearable than the other, the OG counterpart. And the raspberry, the note of raspberry at the top, feels a bit different. That's the only difference when it comes to the overall scent profile. However, the blend quality that they have done with a Rider is again really good. If I have to nitpick, there is some alcoholic blast, but that's very minimal. I don't know how Arabian Aroma pulled it off, but they actually did. And 11 times the value, absolutely wonderful. However, around 80% of the DNA is being captured over here. It's not head-to-head 100% OG designer killer, nothing like that. But it's around 80% into the DNA of Forever Wanted Elixir, and at 11 times cheaper, I think that's a feat in itself. In terms of the performance, the Forever Wanted Elixir will be there for around 1.5 hours, and on clothes, the overall longevity is around 6.5 to 7 hours easily. With Rider, it's around 1 hour of projection and around 6.5 hours of longevity when applied on the clothes. By the way, this is an Apparel perfume. I do need to mention that because some of you keep popping up and say, Apparel perfumes are a scam. I don't think so. Apparel perfumes are Apparel perfumes and they are mentioning it. So just apply it on the Apparel. And whatever I'm doing over here is just for demonstration purposes. I usually use the perfumes on my clothes, okay? 11 times cheaper is the reason it's at number 1. However, all these 5 perfumes that I have mentioned today are top notch, and if in case you are on a tight budget, they can easily replace the famous perfumes that I have talked about over here. And that's pretty much it. If in case you have any queries or concerns about any of these perfumes, do let me know in the comment section. If in case you have any feedbacks, any perfumes that you want me to review, anything for that matter, use the comment section, or you can connect with me via Instagram as well, which is Scent Saga Online. Disclaimer, I am a bit slow to respond in Instagram because I'm not that much active over there, but I'm still trying my best, okay? In the future, I want to create content in Instagram as well. And I don't know, I'm not that much into short form content, but we'll try my hands on in the future and let's see what happens, okay? So with that, this is Reef signing off. I'll see you on the next one very soon. Bye-bye.